Hey guys, it's Miss Coyle here. We're going to talk about significant figures, numbers, and calculations. A calculated answer cannot be more precise than the measuring tool, and a calculated answer must match the least precise measurement. And so you need significant figures or significant numbers, they're kind of the same thing, for final answers from adding or subtracting and multiplying or dividing. So, and I'm going to exit out of here for a second. I also need to find my mouse. There it went. Okay. So let's say, and we're going to talk about this number up here in a second. I want you to find density. So you go and you remember density equals mass over volume. So you go and you find the mass, and your scale or your balance measures out at 5.01 grams. And you go and you measure out your volume, and your volume ends up being 5.01 milliliters. Okay. So in order to find the density, you would need to take the mass divided by the volume. And if you get that, you get this number that I have up here, 5.9039257. So how I have it right now is my calculated answer is more precise than either my first measured value, mass, this one only has 4 significant figures, and it's more precise than my volume, which has 3 significant figures. So what I'm going to have to do in order, because I can't have this number being more precise, is I would have to round using either 4 or 3 significant figures. And what we're going to talk about is how you know which one you're going to measure significant number-wise to, so that you're rounding. So the first rule we're going to talk about is adding and subtracting. The answer has the same number of decimal places as the measurement with the fewest decimal places. So if you were taking 25.2, this has 1 decimal place, or one significant figure after the decimal place. And you were adding it to 1.34, this one has 2 significant figures after the decimal place. If you add these up, you would get, from your calculator, 26.54. However, you would need to round that to 26.5, 1 decimal place. So with adding and subtracting, it's all about the fewest decimal place. You're looking at, it doesn't matter how many numbers you have over here to the left. All you care about is what's over here to the right. Alright, so I'm going to give you a minute to try and figure out what the correct significant figures should be for these answers. Alright, so in the case of 234.05 plus 19.6 plus 2.1. 235.05 has 2 significant figures. 19.6 has 1 after the decimal place, and 2.1 has 1 after the decimal place. So I only want 1 significant figure after the decimal place, which is my number right here, number 2. In B, I have 58.925 minus 18.2. I have 3 significant figures after the decimal place here, 1 significant figure after the decimal place there. So my answer needs 1 significant figure after the decimal place. Multiplying and dividing is a little bit different. You round or add zeros to the calculated number until you have the same number of significant figures as a measurement with the fewest significant figures. And this is overall. So for adding and subtracting, we were thinking about just after the decimal. And for multiplication and dividing, we're thinking of the overall number. So if I do this first one with you, 2.19 times 4.2. Again, we're not worried about just what's after the decimal place. We're worried about the entire number. So I have 3 significant figures there, and in 4.2, I have 2 significant figures overall. So my overall answer needs to have 2 significant figures. Okay? I'm going to give you a minute to go ahead and do B and C. Alright, so for B, I have 4 significant figures in my first one, and only 1 significant figure in my second. Remember, these 2 zeros are not significant. So my answer has to have 1 significant figure, which is 60.0. This 0 is not significant because, remember, in order for zeros to be significant at the end, it has to occur after a number, a non-zero number, which it is, but there also has to be a decimal place present, which there is not. Oh, and C we have all kinds of good stuff going on. But don't let it confuse you. We have 4 numbers instead of 2. Same process. I have 3 significant figures, 2 significant figures, 2 significant figures here. Why is this 0 significant when this one wasn't? Because of that decimal place right there. Oh, let me go back here for a second. And 3 significant figures. Okay, so my answer has to have 2 significant figures, which is 11. Okay. Actually, although to be honest with you, I didn't do this math. So if you do the math, it could also possibly be 3. 3 actually seems to make a little bit more sense. Alright, now from this point on, these notes we all talked about last year, so I'm not going to go over them again. However, if you have any questions, feel free to look over your notes, rewatch the videos. Alright, bye.